on FS1. Well, the Eagles season is over, but they have a big decision to make. And yesterday, Doug Pederson said Carson Wentz is the quarterback going forward, but Wentz has been injured the last 2 years. Nick Foles can become a free agent after leading the Eagles back to the playoffs, but their season ended Sunday with an interception off the hands of Jeffrey. Foles said he'd like to be the starter, but bringing him back will cost the Eagles $20 million. Shannon,
yes.
Should Philly move on from Nick Foles?
Yes.
Why did you hesitate?
Because I don't know how they're going to do it, but he needs to be out of Philly.
Let him go.
Whew.
Let him
Yeah,
go.
you had a little sigh there.
Whoa, hold on. First of all,
You scared?
First of all, he's our property.
Huh.
And I'm not going to just release him, okay? I'm going to do what's in the
So
best
now
interest.
you're
I'm gonna do what's in
running the Eagles.
I'm
Yeah, he is.
I'm going to do what's
Yeah.
in the best interest of the Philadelphia Eagles, Skip
Okay.
Bayless.
Okay.
So just because you want us to release him and let him go
Well,
on the street.
do you not have enough faith in
Yes, we got faith, but if we can get something for him, yeah, I might throw this old rocking chair away. But if I can put it in my yard for $10 and somebody buy it and take it off my hands,
So you
that's
said
what I'm going to do.
Nick Foles is an old rocking chair.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Example.
Look, Wentz is the future. He's 26 years old. He's on a rookie contract. He was not healthy. He was on pace. I believe he would have won the MVP in his second year as a starter had he not gotten injured.
Yep.
You believe that also. Skip, in the last 3 quarters against New Orleans, 10 of 22, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 points. He had 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions this year. That's what Nick Foles had. Now, when Nick Foles start this year, the Eagles average 22 points a game. When Carson Wentz start, 22 points a game. Nick Foles got really lucky. He won a game in which they scored 16 points against the Bears, and they
That's
scored.
the #1 defensive football in Chicago in a playoff game.
I don't care.
Yeah.
If you're what you say you are, you should score.
Well, what happened when Carson Wentz played Dallas this year?
Well, let me ask you a
What
question.
happened?
If you don't mind me
Twice.
asking, if you don't mind
Twice.
me asking, walk it to him. Wentz went up against the #1 defense in the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh.
And what did he put up? 28.
Probably got hurt. That's probably what happened.
You know what?
Well, he's always getting hurt. Is that when he got his back fractured?
And against the Atlanta Falcons in week 1, they scored 18 and they won that ball. Look, the Eagles can't skip. They can't give him $20 million. They're already going to be, it's projected they're going to have the
Hey,
worst
just
calendar.
cut bait. Move on. Open the door for Walker to him to walk out there and
Well,
do
we don't
it.
need to. Look,
Huh?
all Dougie P did was state the obvious. I mean, he didn't tell us anything we didn't know. We knew what was going to happen. Everybody knew what was going to happen except you. And because you such an Eagles hater, because they have a Super Bowl in the last 10 months, and you guys don't have one in the last 20 years. And you still upset about that.
I'm not upset about that. I just saw with my own 2 eyes that Nick Foles plays quarterback for Philadelphia better than Carson Wentz ever played
What about the
quarterback
14
for Philadelphia. Which game?
Last game, the last time you saw him, you said your eyes good, right?
Oh, yeah. I saw
14.
him driving deep into New Orleans territory and hitting Alshon Jeffrey with a seminal moment pass that went right through his hands. And it might be either the best or the worst thing that ever happened to your man Carson Wentz. W-I-N-C-E.
Walk it to
Ouch.
him.
Right? Yeah, because something happened right there because either you got taken off the hook, not by Nick Foles. He didn't throw it to Marshawn Lattimore. He threw it to Alshon. It went right through his hand.
What about the other
It
two
was a
picks? What about
shocking
the other
moment.
pick?
There's just one other pick.
What about the
It was
other
a good throw, I thought. He's up 14-0 in that game.
They scored 14 points in the first quarter and 0 the
What
rest
did
of the
I
game.
show you? Over the last 9 games, New Orleans has the second best defense in football to Chicago's. So what do we see on the resume here? We see Nick Foles, 68 touchdowns to 33 interceptions. That's really good.
Well, he's aided by the 27-2 Skip Bayless.
And you always said 27-2 with under
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly. Then you say, oh, he went elsewhere and he was a disaster. Guess who his head coach was
Who was
for
it?
1 year in St. Louis? It was the quarterback killer, Jeff Fisher.
Okay.
Who has ever been able to play quarterback for Jeff Fisher? He's harder to play quarterback for than John Gruden is. Am I right?
Yep.
So that's just aberration. Just wipe it off the slate.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Why and how was he allowed to go to the Rams? If he was what you said he was in Philly, how did he ever get out of it?
He played a playoff game against Drew Brees, and he put him in position. He drove the ball with 4 minutes left down for the touchdown that put them ahead.
Okay, so what
and
happened?
then Drew Brees drove it the rest of the time. He ate the whole rest of the clock up and got a walk-off field goal for Shane Graham.
What happened to the rest of the years that he was in Philly?
Well, let's look at what he just did. He beat the defending NFC champs last year in the Atlanta Falcons,
Yes.
obviously. Then he beat the #1 defense in all of pro football, your Minnesota Vikings, obviously in Philadelphia. Then he hung 41 on the genius Belichick in the Super Bowl.
And who was the quarterback for Belichick?
Yeah, he didn't outplay him.
He outgunned it.
Well, he didn't outgun him. 373 to 505. I think Brady pretty much outgunned Nick Foles.
Nope.
But Nick Foles was the MVP, and he deserved to be the MVP. Then this year, he goes to Chicago and beats the #1 defense. It took Cody Parkey's weird, bizarre doink.
And then he go on a press tour.
Yeah. And then he's driving for what I thought. I'm just sitting back in my living room saying, this is it. It's Foles magic again. He's driving deep into New Orleans. You know what was coming.
Okay.
21 to 20, Philly was coming.
Let's be honest. Why were you rooting so hard for Philly?
I like Nick Foles.
No, you don't. You wanted Philly to win. You wanted Dallas. You was hoping Dallas win, so Dallas would get a home playoff game.
By then, that was off the boards. You know, that was over.
It would have been fun to see, though.
I would have been rooting for the Eagles. I was not.
You got it in for walking to him.
Hey, I don't have it in for. I just don't buy him. I don't buy him.
He's the better of the NFC East quarterback.
Oh, stop.
And he's the same age.
He's not better than Dak Prescott.
Yes, he is.
Every time he plays Dak Prescott, bad things happen to Carson Wentz.
No, it doesn't.
He lost to him twice this year.
Okay, he beat y'all twice last year.
Oh, stop it.
Beat the brakes
what happened when he was a rookie? Bad things happened.
Hold on.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I know what my eyes tell me. Nick Foles, and again, maybe he goes somewhere else and he's not as good.
Right.
But in Doug Pederson's offense, Frank Reich helped some last year, but whatever that offense is, it really suits him. It fits him.
It does.
You know it in your heart of hearts. You watch him operate, and you say, he plays quarterback for that team better than the other guy plays quarterback.
In other words, while you saying just release him, if I'm a team, there should be buyers beware.
Okay, I know what I would do. If I ran the Eagles, I would trade Carson Wentz.
No, we're going to do you one better.
I don't trust his health. Okay, well, you
Nick Foles is getting traded.
Yeah.
So
I would just let him go. Just let him go.
I think we
just
should
clear the deck.
I think Dallas should pick up
If you try to trade him, maybe you don't get the right.
I think Nick Foles should go to Dallas.
Stop it. We don't need a
quarterback. Whoa, why you don't?
Yeah, and I got to knock on wood. But our quarterback is durable as opposed to your quarterback who's not. How many times has he been hurt? What do you have, a fractured wrist at North Dakota?
When is your quarterback? When is your quarterback outgunned a Super Bowl MVP?
Well, probably several times. Aaron Rodgers, he's outgunned him 3 times.
Give me that one before.
3 times.
Jimmy Butler and the Sixers go a little too far last night.